There are a total of 16 CDs found scattered throughout the massive pizzaplex, revealing more information about the ambiguous story. Hi folks, I'm R, and welcome to today's video. Sorry about the messy hair, I just woke up and didn't get a lot of time to do anything with it. If you enjoy these videos, why don't you hit the subscribe button so we can get to know each other a little bit better. All the credit goes to NT Theories and Springtrap channels, as this video wouldn't be possible without them. I highly recommend you go and watch their videos as well, as they include the full links of each CD. This video will have spoilers about all of the FNAF games. With that said, let's begin.
Vanessa, how are you feeling today?
The first CD directly addresses Vanessa, with the therapist sounding as if having an American accent. The therapist mentions how it's been a while since they last spoke and opens up with asking about Vanessa's anxiety and if she's still using the calming protocols she learned from the same therapist before in order to combat her anxiety. The therapist then continues asking about a new issue that has come up, to which Vanessa defensively dismisses, mentioning she's been working and doing what's expected of her, which indicates that this recording must have been recorded recently, as Vanessa is still at work, and possibly the therapist is part of HR or the work counseling. The therapist mentions that Vanessa has been doing a good work, but after a routine check on her online activity, they discovered an encrypted conversation with an unknown person. Producing some transcripts, the therapist still finds the conversations confusing, to which Vanessa tries to avoid by lying that it's with Lewis in the marketing department, as he's nice, meaning that they might be intending to date. However, the therapist catches on, insisting that the person she's having an encrypted conversation with is someone other than Lewis. The second CD seems to include the same therapist, as she shares the same tone and cadence with the first one, who starts the conversation with how beautiful the day is. This time, the therapist doesn't address the client as Vanessa, which could possibly mean she's someone else. After pulling the shades, as seemingly the client is sensitive to bright lights, a hint in regards to how the animatronics and the mascots were sensitive to bright light. The therapist urges the client to respond and speak, mentioning if she doesn't respond, her reviews won't be good for the client in regards to her work performance in association to the company. The therapist then jokes around, saying she would get time out in the corner if she doesn't manage to speak to the client, which makes the client giggle seemingly. It's unknown what organization she's talking about, but it seems that it's not the pizzaplex.
You know, everyone associated with this company gets performance reviews, right? When my sessions don't get results, my reviews aren't very good. If you don't want to talk for your own sake, how about for mine? You don't want me to get in trouble, do you? I could be put in the corner for a timeout. Yeah, you think that's funny, huh?
The third CD starts with a new therapist having a British accent, instructing the client, who's more talkative, sounding like Vanessa, to sit down.
Hi, go ahead, sit down.
I don't know you. What happened to...
Oh, we'll get to know each other in no time.
Vanessa tries to ask about what happened to her previous therapist, which the new therapist dismisses, changing the conversation asking about her father, who was called Bill, a variation to the name William. Vanessa then mumbles under her breath and then says that she tries to do what she's supposed to do. The therapist continues explaining how Vanessa follows instructions at work perfectly, and then goes back to the topic of her father Bill, how he manipulated her into lying in the court for her custody when she was younger, in a custody battle between her parents. The therapist continues how Bill made the mother look bad in court and threatened and scared Vanessa into lying as well. She continues that she knows Vanessa's mom did something to herself after losing the custody, which is scrapped from the CD, which makes Vanessa remember giving a false testimony, repeating that she must have been a good girl, displaying how badly she was manipulated by Bill.
He manipulated you. It wasn't your fault. It's really sad. but it's common for one parent to use their child to hurt the other parent. I know your mom after she lost the custody case.
The fourth CD includes the same therapist yet again, with not a very talkative client who seemingly doesn't like fragrant flowers, which insinuates that two different people are being interviewed, possibly Vanessa, who's more talkative, and another who's not. They both also seem to have a connection with each other, with Vanessa possibly working in the pizza place and the unnamed character in a different organization. The therapist then mentions how the unnamed character of a client doesn't fit in the seat, and how she's not surprised to the news that her previous counselor is not available. That's unlike Vanessa, who asked about where her counselor is.
I don't know you. What happened to...
Oh, we'll get to know each other in no time. Your previous counselor is no longer available. Does that bother you? No? You don't look surprised to see me sitting here instead of your last therapist.
The therapist then continues on. The unnamed client files mention she's a troublemaker and has remarkable skills at hacking. This portrays how, in fact, it wasn't Vanessa nor Gregory who hacked Freddy into malfunctioning, but this unnamed and unknown person whom Freddy detected as a threat. Gregory even mentions in the beginning that it was her who hacked Freddy, and that he hid inside Freddy's chest cavity to avoid being caught by her.
You were sleeping, so I opened the stomach hatch and climbed inside.
My stomach hatch? That place is reserved for oversized birthday cakes and piñatas. It is not a safe play area. There you are.
I'm Gregory.
Gregory. I cannot connect to the main network.
It's her. She cut you off. She's not going to let you call for help until she finds me.
Who? Who is looking for you? Your mother?
Shh! I hear footsteps!
That is the security guard. She can help.
No, I don't trust her.
Why not?
I don't know who she is, but she's trying to get me.
Therefore, this troublemaker person who hacked Freddy wanted to catch Gregory, hence why he hid inside Freddy's chest. This leads to my theory that this person and Vanessa might have some sort of connection with each other, as they seem to share the same therapists. The fifth CD includes the same therapist addressing Vanessa by name. The counselor mentions that Vanessa is using the work computer while still at work, communicating with an unknown person, which is against the work rules. Even worse, the context of the conversation revealed that they are extremely manipulative in nature, as if the other counterpart is manipulating Vanessa into doing certain things. Vanessa, as usual, tries to dismiss it when the counselor insists that this person has been hacking into Vanessa's personal files that the counselor currently has. That's when glitching sounds are heard and will be heard in the subsequent CDs. Vanessa, unlike the other client, seems to lack over-average computer skills and comes across very insecure, saying sometimes she needs to listen what people tell her.
Lots of people know more than I do. Sometimes I need to listen.
It seems as if the other client, who's got hacking skills, is hacking into Vanessa's files, if not her, possibly Glitch Trap, possessed by the digital manifestation of William Afton. But more on that later. The sixth CD yet includes another therapist, as if the previous British-sounding one suffered the same fate of the previous ones. It's likely she disappeared as she looked too much into Vanessa's case, discovering more about the other person hacking into her personal life. The manipulative person on the computer with encrypted messages. That's what happened to the first counselor as well, after learning about the encrypted conversations. Maybe that explains why Vanessa is hesitant in opening up and explaining who the other person is. She's afraid of her counselors disappearing, something we know she cares about, as she asked about her previous counselor.
I don't know you. What happened to...
Oh, we'll get to know each other in no time.
The new counselor offers the client a candy and expands on the topic of her parents who suffered a tragic fate. It's unclear at this stage if this unnamed client and Vanessa share the same parents or not. It's further explained that this client produced an objective statement about her parents, and that she's good at self-dialogue. Something that will be discussed more in the subsequent CDs.
Well, I see in your file that you spend a lot of time by yourself and are good at self-dialogue. You know what I mean? Asking yourself questions and getting answers. So maybe you should ask yourself how you really feel about your past. Maybe you should give yourself a chance to really look at what happened and let yourself be upset about it.
The 7th CD includes the same counselor who addresses Vanessa by name, offering her a candy. Vanessa refuses the candy, mentioning how she's conscious about the calorie intakes and seemingly her weight, keeping herself slim, drawing yet another difference between the sizes of the two interviewees. One not perfectly fitting in the chair, the unnamed character, with Vanessa fitting in perfectly. The 8th CD seems to be with the unnamed character once more, with the counselor asking if she wrote down about her tragic past and what made her feel sad and scared, something that she seems to be avoiding. Then subsequently, CD 9 is with Vanessa, as she's more talkative, and unlike the unnamed character, she shows fondness of flowers. She also explains she doesn't like dark, unlike the unnamed character, who was fond of dark and caves, and didn't like bright lights. The 10th CD reveals that the counselor is yet again finding out about the person Vanessa is secretly talking to, when Vanessa mentions that she's working a lot and that she has signed a non-disclosure agreement, preventing her from speaking about certain things. Clearly trying to avoid to talk about the person that she's talking about in order for her counselor not to disappear, or whatever threat that she herself is under. On the 11th CD, Vanessa is yet again addressed by her name, where she enjoys looking outside of the window, observing the sunny day, unlike the unnamed character. The counselor then mentions how she discovered about Vanessa doing some online shopping while at work, shopping for some sort of a costume with fake fur. She mumbles that the costume is a secret, something she bought under the instructions of him. The counselor asks if she's talking about her father, to which she explains that he could be anywhere, even there with them. She continues that she thought that she locked them away, to which the counselor thinks that it's only the memory of the father. The counselor then prompts her to do some sort of self-dialogue to help her overcome her issues, to which she responds that she doesn't like doing so, unlike the unnamed character who enjoyed talking to herself. It seems that Vanessa is talking about William Afton's presence, the digital manifestation of him which possessed Glitch Trap and Spring Trap, seemingly attacking Vanny or Vanessa in the last game, Help Wanted. Knowing the ending of Security Breach, where Springtrap is set loose, it's revealed that the digital manifestation of William Afton is still at large, hunting Vanessa and manipulating her into doing certain things. There, my theory is that Vanessa in fact is one of the daughters of William Afton, apart from Elizabeth and any other unknown ones for now. Vanessa could be from a different wife of William that hasn't been mentioned so far. And as the name Bill is another variation of William, alongside the manipulative and abusive nature of William, matching the behaviors of Bill, it's quite possible they are, in fact, the same person. Vanessa also mentioning that she thought she locked them away goes back to the ending where she is only set free after the protagonist beats all of the Princess Quest games, displaying how she is digitally bound to William Afton and manipulated by him. On the 12th CD, yet again Vanessa being addressed by name, she gets informed that the current counselor is being transferred, yet she can be accessible even outside of work for private sessions. That's when Vanessa mentions in a sinister tone that she's needed somewhere else now.
I'm needed somewhere else now. Thank you.
On the 13th CD, a new counselor is introduced, as seemingly the last one figured out too much about the secret conversations. It seems that the counselor is talking to the unnamed character here. She explains that she's the 4th therapist with 2 missing and 1 being found dead. She explains her body was mangled by machinery, indicating that she was killed by an animatronic. The unnamed character remains calm and unbothered about the horrible news, which surprises the therapist. The 14th CD also seems to be with the unnamed character, with the therapist asking if she knows of a place called Fazbear Mega Pizzaplex, displaying that she in fact does not work there, unlike Vanessa. Regardless, it has been reported that she was caught on camera by technicians roaming around in the premises. The technicians reported that she hacked into their system many times, which ends the recording there and then. This recording reveals that in fact, Vanessa and the unnamed character are not having double sessions and are being interviewed at different times completely. It seems like the unnamed character goes to the therapy sessions to keep a close tab on Vanessa. It seems that she was the one who has been talking to Vanessa in encrypted messages and hacking the systems, making Freddy to malfunction. She was the threat Freddy detected before shutting down and who Gregory was hiding from. The therapist then continues on and digs deeper, asking about the encrypted messages. She mentions that she knows the unnamed character is a loner and has even created an electronic software which responds to her, kind of like a self-therapy, but that she also found a real person responding. The recording then comes to an abrupt end, with the next CD unveiling more information. On the CD, unsurprisingly, a new therapist is now assigned to talk to the unnamed character, depicting how the last one also went missing, and by that, I mean dead, as she learned about the encrypted messages and even the unnamed characters involved in the Pizzaplex. Carrying out an ink blood test, the unnamed character speaks about disguises and masks and how she likes them. It then leads to the therapist mentioning how the unnamed character speaks to someone through messages, which at first seemed manipulative towards her, with someone or something trying to lure her somewhere. But with more careful analysis, revealing that the unnamed character is actually the manipulator, who's manipulating the other counterpart. The therapist then shows a picture of her taken by technicians in the Pizzaplex, displaying it being distorted and glitchy, while she seems to be talking to someone or something. It then comes to an end after the therapist points out that she was wearing something looking like rabbit ears. This clearly shows how the unnamed character is in fact the person under the Vanny suit, manipulating Vanessa into carrying out certain tasks, hence why Gregory didn't trust Vanessa either. The unnamed person, or should we call her Vanny for short, seems to also have been able to communicate with William Afton, an entity, a digital presence, causing the distortions, producing the sadistic and murderous tendencies, seemingly helping Vanny to hack easier into systems, infecting the other bots and animatronics while she wears a bunny suit, which was purchased and made by a manipulated Vanessa. Then finally, CD16 involves the last to be doomed therapist explaining how the Pizzaplex robots are becoming more eerie than entertaining, which makes Vanny laugh. She further explains that the technicians traced back the origin of the glitch to Vanny, revealing she's been behind it all, making the animatronics become hostile. Eventually, the therapist mentions that Vanny lied in her files about her past and the tragedy that befell her parents. Looking deep into her past, she discovered that in fact, Vanny had great loving parents, with the CD ending abruptly, with Vanny seemingly refusing to see the therapist again, leading to her go missing, just like the other therapists. Vanessa and Vanny looking similar and being blonde might be a complete coincidence when she's unmasked, as Gregory seems to be confused to who this person is, with question marks appearing. If it was Vanessa, he would not be so confused and presume it's the security guard. Therefore, they might look similar on the comic aesthetics, but be different people. Through some of the messages, it's revealed that the security personnel within the Pizzaplex were fired one by one, with an inexperienced Vanessa being suddenly hired by higher-ups. The animatronics all start malfunctioning and becoming hostile as well, with the Pizzaplex becoming almost like a death trap. It's safe to assume that all of this was due to Vanny, the unnamed silent character that had remarkable hacking skills, seen intruding in the Pizzaplex while distorting the camera footages and wearing a bunny suit and talking to an unseen entity. She somehow manages to find Vanessa and manipulate her into carrying out certain tasks after hacking the system and hiring her in the Pizzaplex. The entity that she was speaking to seems to have been the digital manifestation of William Afton, yet again going on another killing spree. This in a way goes back to the previous game, Help Wanted, where the protagonist becomes the target of Glitch Trap, causing all the distortions and eventually taking a hold of the protagonist called Vanny or Vanessa, also referred to as the reluctant follower. A follower that does not want to be one, a reluctant follower of William Afton. Therefore, it's safe to say that Vanessa somehow became hunted by the digital soul of William Afton, being the security of Help Wanted, then eventually being manipulated and threatened into doing certain tasks. This theory in a way is fortified with the ending when she becomes free after Gregory beats all of the Princess Quest games. It portrays how in fact Vanessa was enslaved by the digital manifestation of William Afton. It's possible Vanessa's father was also William Afton, but hopefully more on that later. The unnamed character, however, is a mystery, as she seems to want to please William Afton, taking into assumptions if she's not possessed by him. Vanessa and Vanny being twins or sisters is unlikely, as Vanessa had parents having a custody battle and a manipulative and horrible father who she ended up with, while the unnamed character was discovered to have had great parents. The unnamed character also could be the manifestation of Elizabeth Afton or possessed by her, as she shares similar characteristics with her. She was lonely, not talkative, quite sadistic, and childlike, with liking candies and laughing all the time. She also benefits from the distortional abilities of William Afton to hack into different systems, and finally reincarnating him in the form of Springtrap. If you folks enjoyed this theory video, stick around by hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell, as more is coming. While you're at it, why don't you check out the last 2 videos I made about security breach as well. It's been R. Until the next time, have a fantastic day.